Hey Ty, what's America's pastime?
Baseball?
Go Rangers! But wrong. It's 2025, and let's be honest. America's true pastime is video games. So, today, Ty and I are once again willingly stranding ourselves on our trusty desert island, and just like Captain Jack Sparrow stashing away his rum, we're stashing away our favorite sources of entertainment. This time, it's our top 5 video games ever. So let's kick back in our island hut, fire up our solar-powered consoles, and dig up 5 titles that'll help us survive sun, sand, and total isolation. This is Yada Yada, Episode 7. Let's get it. All right, here we are. We're back.
We are back.
Made it after just a few technical difficulties. We finally ran into some technical difficulties. First time as podcasters, but guess what, everybody? You just got to restart your device. That's the key. That is the key.
In case you didn't know out there, turning it off and turning it back on is always the first step. And believe it or not, that was the last step we took, and it did work. So we are back. We are live recording. We got a lot of feedback on our top 10 NBA players all time, which I was expecting, because as we said, it's probably one of the most heated, talked about debates, at least in sports. And so I just want to shout out some commenters who have been some longtime listeners of Yada Yada podcast. Mr. Steele. That's all it says. The username is just Steele. So, Steele, if you're out there, continue to comment. We know you're listening. We appreciate your listening. We might have to have you on the show as a top commenter at some point.
Maybe.
Steele was not happy with me leaving Larry Bird out of my top 10.
What'd he say?
He said, there is no way you have Bird in your honorable mention. Which I'm not surprised by. If this is the same Steele that I've known for a while, I know he's a big Larry Bird fan. So that doesn't really surprise me. Another
He's even got the Converse weapons to prove it.
Yeah,
break him out.
He's got there. I'm sure there's a picture or two around of old Steele in a Larry Bird outfit.
Oh yeah.
He also commented on our episode 5 where we talked about our top 5 books, and he said Tolkien is indeed the granddaddy of fantasy literature.
I thought somebody would like that quote.
Yeah. And then under that, he gave us a little mixture of movie and book quotes.
Oh, okay.
See if you can tell me what movie this is from, because I'm sure you can. This is a Shakespeare jab, I guess, or reference. Doth your mother know you wear it her drapes?
That would be Avengers. If you can believe it or not.
Yep. And who said that?
That would be Mr. Tony Stark himself, Iron Man.
Yep. He was talking to Thor. That was when Iron Man and Thor first met each other, I believe, in Avengers.
It sure was.
Remembering correctly. So, shout out to Steele for being a longtime listener. Another longtime listener we have is Bo. Once again, just says Bo.
Okay.
Episode 1. He's all the way from episode 1. I don't know if you remember, but we talked about a viral fight going on between 100 men and a gorilla.
That's right. We did, yeah.
Do you remember what we said would win?
I think it was 50 men or something like that. Yeah, I think we took, or 100 men.
It was 100 men.
I think we definitely took the 100 men.
Yeah, Bo's taking the gorilla.
Really?
His comment. Yeah, he's taking the gorilla.
So waylay
we
all
might
100
have to,
of those dudes.
Yeah, we might have to have him on at some point and explain his reasoning behind that.
He might, yeah.
He also commented on his top 10 movies of all time.
Ooh.
Me and him both have the same number 1 with The Dark Knight.
Wow, okay.
So he had Dark Knight at number 1. He also had Dumb and Dumber at number 2. So that's
There we go.
not a bad pick.
No, it's not. I was on both of our lists.
Yeah, he was maybe some dark horses or things we forget about.
Yeah.
He had Christmas Vacation. I know we talked about Christmas Vacation. I didn't have a Christmas movie, but you thought I would have it on there. Top Gun Maverick was on his list.
That's a great one.
And then
That's in the running for my favorite Tom Cruise movie. I might have to rank those at some point.
Yeah, well, we could just all the Mission Impossibles. We can rank those. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Tombstone was number 3 for Bo.
Ooh,
That was kind of surprising from this side of the family. Tombstone is usually not in our top movies. So
Well, it's
that was
nice
good
to see one of y'all branching out a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes we get a little diverse, not very often, but and then before you get too hyped up about us getting diverse, let me read you his TV shows.
Oh, okay.
Same listener, Bo. Number 1, The Office. Number 2,
As expected.
Friends. Number 3, Parks and Rec.
It's the highlight reel.
Number 4, Seinfeld.
Okay.
And number 5, Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. I think I've only seen the movies of Mr. Bean. I don't know that I've ever watched the TV
He's got
show.
some old skits and TV shows where he just doesn't speak at all. So he had 5 non-diverse TV shows.
Right.
All comedies, kind of all sitcoms as well. So
Yeah.
and then I've got to shout out. I've given this guy a nickname. His Spotify, Hayden Richardson, which I know who that is, but you don't.
Right.
Hayden Richardson. I call him Hot Take Hayden.
Okay.
Because
That's
he
fun.
always has a hot take. And let me read you his top 10 NBA players of all time.
Oh, boy.
At number 10, Kevin Durant.
That's pretty darn high.
Yeah. He also does not have Larry Bird. He has...
So underrated.
He has Magic at 9, Tim Duncan at 8, Shaq at 7. So I can be
respect
okay with
those 3. Yeah.
Yep. He has Akeem at 6. He's a big Rockets fan, so I doesn't surprise me. And I'm okay with Akeem being in the top 10.
Yeah.
Kareem is at number 5.
Okay. He was my 3, so
Yeah.
that's good with me ish.
Steph Curry, number 4, which was the same as me. Yeah, you're not a big Curry guy, and that took a lot of heat from the people that I spoke with.
I guess so, man.
But I heard Larry Bird should be in my top 10, so we might have. That's the joy of the debates, though. We get to choose ourselves.
That's true.
Now let me read you his top 3.
Did I take more heat for not having Curry in my top 10 than you did for having Dirk in your top 10?
Probably not, because most of the people I know love Dirk.
That's fair, I guess.
So, behind scenes, probably, but because Curry is Curry, I don't know.
Once we pick up some listeners out of state.
Yeah, right. Some
Other
non-Mavs
countries.
fans. Yeah. Non-Texas residents. But let me read you Hot Take Hayden's top 3, because this is where the hot take comes into play.
About to say, he hasn't named the 3 that I figured would be top 3.
Yeah. And they're probably not in the order you would like either. I'll just start with 1. Number 1 is LeBron, which, we talked about that last episode. That's respectable.
It's a 2-man race. You put LeBron, it's fine.
Yeah, but apparently it's not a 2-man race, because Kobe Bryant is number 2 for Hot Take Hayden.
There's no way you put Kobe over Jordan. Oh, my goodness.
Kobe Bryant is at number 2 for Mr. Hot Take Hayden.
Woo.
And Michael Jordan is at number 3. So
Hot Take Hayden. That might be the first person to ever put Michael Jordan at number 3 on an all-time basketball list this century.
You can always count on this guy for something crazy. Whether he believes it or not, it works. It's kind of like Stephen A. Smith and all the other morons at ESPN. And like we're talking about it, so obviously
That's true.
it worked.
Yeah, keep
Whatever
them
you
coming.
said.
Hot take,
Yeah.
Hayden. We appreciate it.
So yeah, we appreciate the comments from all you guys out there. We can't get to all of them, but I do appreciate all of you that have commented. There's also been some confusion. You can only comment on Spotify. So if you're an Apple Podcast listener, haven't really figured out a way for you to get your answers to us other than create a free Spotify account because it is free and listen that way. So,
Yeah.
but we do appreciate the people who have interacted with this. It makes it a lot more fun when people give us their answers to all of our debates so far. This Yada Yada podcast has turned into let's rank a bunch of stuff. And that's kind of what we've done. And it's been a lot of fun. So we're going to keep doing it today. As you heard in our cold open,
Yes, sir.
we are back on our desert island, wherever this desert island may be. It sounds like a pretty fun desert island. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, you got movies, you got books, you got video games this episode. So I'm having a party on this.
Yeah,
desert
we might
island.
have to, at some point, we got to rank like top 5 foods I'd bring or something. And
do some
would
snacks.
Would you go to this desert island? Because I definitely would if I had some of these top 5 foods and drinks and stuff. So, so we're gonna rank our top 5 video games that we would take with us to a desert island on this episode. I'll go ahead and start with some thoughts behind my thought process behind my choices.
Okay.
Kind of like the book debate for me, I am not a very diverse video game player. I like my games that I play, and I continue to play those games. I don't really branch out and play a lot of different video games. So that'll probably come into play a little bit when I read my top 5. I thought I need games that you can't beat. I don't want games that end. Because if I'm stuck on this desert island, I'm going to want to continue to play these games over and over and over. So if I beat it the first week I'm there, well, there went one video game already. I'm not going to want to play it again. So I want games that have lots of free play, lots of levels, lots of different game modes. That went into my thought process a little bit as well. I also think Wi-Fi plays a huge role in video games, especially nowadays. With the way games have started to change, a lot more online gameplay nowadays than there was even 10, 15 years ago.
It's true.
So we just FYI, listeners, we decided we have good, stellar Wi-Fi on this desert island. So when we're picking our video games, we're gonna reference playing online and things like that. Just know our desert island does have Wi-Fi. What's the Elon Musk Wi-Fi? I guess it's there.
Yeah,
Starlink.
I mean, we're not cavemen, you know.
No,
This is a civilized island.
It's not a real desert island. It's a desert island that we want to be on. So yeah, Wi-Fi's there. Even though we have Wi-Fi, we still can't get off the desert island, though. We're not that smart. We're kind of cavemen, but not quite.
Right.
And then the last thing I thought, it kind of depends on. I've played video games my whole life. I'm in that generation where they've always been around. I had older brothers that played them, and so I would kind of watch and play with them sometimes, and friends obviously, and cousins, and so the age that I am on this desert island kind of plays into what video games I want to bring as well. Because there were some games that I played when I was younger that were pretty stinking fun, that have gone away recently. Not recently, but they've gone away over time because, for whatever reason. New games have come out, or better graphics, or better gameplay, or more online, or whatever it is. So there's going to be some games that I mentioned that, wow, I haven't thought about that game in a long time. But it was one of those games that was really, really fun when I was a kid. So that's kind of my thought process behind the video games that I'm going to choose.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds great. I kind of had a similar process. Actually, you know what? To be honest, I just went and I I picked my 5 favorite games of all time.
There you go.
Just games that maybe the games that I've played the most over my life. Bar one. There's one that is going to be an honorable mention. That I've probably played more than some of the games on my list. But yeah, these games are they're so much fun. To play with people, to play by myself. And so I just went with my favorite ones. Just kept it simple for this one. Yeah.
That's good. Typically, that's what you would do. I mean, that's kind of what we've done with our TV shows and our movies, and even our books were a little bit different. But video games, pick your best ones that you like. Here's some of my honorable mentions. I actually, this was one of the harder lists for me. I think this one and the movies was probably my two hard, obviously besides the NBA players, but that wasn't really a desert island.
Right.
But of the desert island debates that we've done, this one was one of the harder ones because I have played so many video games in my life. So starting off my honorable mention, this might be one of your top 5. I don't know. But I have Grand Theft Auto as an honorable mention.
Also an honorable mention for me.
Okay. I also have Mario Kart as an honorable mention. I have Call of Duty, whichever version, as an honorable mention because there's so many versions and it's one of the most popular games ever, but I'm just not one of those. I don't play those kind of games very often because I'm not very good at them. And then I don't know if you remember this game or if you played it, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
I don't remember exactly which version I played, but I remember playing the Tony Hawk games as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never owned them, but I would always go to friends' houses and play them. So
yeah,
that
so
was a good time.
I looked up. I specifically remember skating in Alcatraz, the prison.
Okay, that's cool.
And so I Googled which Tony Hawk game had the Alcatraz prison, and it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. And I vividly remember playing that game a bunch. You could build your own skate park, and you had to do all these tricks and things like that.
Cool.
So that's one of those nostalgia games that I kind of have in the back of my mind was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Another kind of nostalgia one was Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero was a big game back in the day. Very popular, led into Rock Band with the whole drums and microphone and bass guitar and things like that. So I had Guitar Hero in my honorable mention. I really thought about putting it in my top 5, but it is one of those beatable games. I feel like there's only a limited amount of songs, and once you beat all the levels and beat every setting, okay, I guess we'll just go and do it again. Which some people would be okay with because it's music. You could play music over and over.
Right.
But I had Guitar Hero also in my honorable mention, and then I had Red Dead Redemption in my honorable mention as well.
You have Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2?
Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption. Okay.
Yes. Cool. So I guess both because I don't have Red Dead Redemption 2 in my top 5. So I guess both of them are in my honorable mention.
Okay, cool.
That's kind of for those of you that don't know, Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto are kind of the same concept. Grand Theft Auto, and when I was trying to think of a way to describe it, it's a virtual version of, an adult virtual version of Cops and Robbers, and you're always the robber. That's kind of the way I thought of it. It gets pretty intense pretty quick. But Red Dead is the Wild Wild West version of Cops and Robbers, kind of. So I have both of those on my honorable mention. I tried to put them both in my top 5, but at first I did have them both in my top 5, and then I kind of did some more thinking and some more research, and I didn't have them in there. So I also had Farming Simulator. I feel like that's probably one of the ones you thought was in my top 5.
Oh, I definitely thought that was at least top 3.
Yep. Farming Simulator is an honorable mention. I would love to bring it. It's one of those games that it doesn't end, and you can just keep on growing stuff and keep on playing it and driving tractors and driving trucks. and it's pretty fun, but it did not make my top 5. So that's my honorable mention for my video games. What do you got?
Very good. You reminded me of Guitar Hero, man. I used to wear that game out as a kid.
Man,
That was so much fun.
I've tried to find like places that sell it and refurbished versions and things like that. If you can, I don't know where you would find them, or if it's it's probably like $1,000 to buy it because it's an antique at this point. But
honestly,
yeah, that was a fun one.
That was fun, and I remember I used to go over to my friend's house, and his dad was a huge Beatles nut, and they had the Beatles rock band, and that was like the beginning of me falling in love with the Beatles, and I won't. Yeah. So anyway, that was also a super fun game. Also in my honorable mentions, I have the Lego Star Wars games. I really enjoy the first one. It was just the prequel trilogy. Me and my brother played that game all the time. I have vivid memories of that. And then of course they came out with, I think the next one had the first 6 movies, and then recently for the PS4 they had the complete Skywalker saga, and I did buy that one as well, and it's such a fun game. It's a great homage to the whole saga. The levels aren't, like it doesn't take very long to beat each level. You can do it pretty quick, but it's actually a really cool open world game as well. So for all you Lego fans out there that haven't played the Skywalker saga, I would recommend it. And then also I had Star Wars Battlefront 2. And I'm specifically the original was great as well. I have great memories of that. It's just been a while, and so I'm specifically referring to the one that came out for the PlayStation 4, and then you could also play it on the PlayStation 5 as well. But that game had a great campaign. I think it's one of the best adaptations of Luke Skywalker post Episode 6. Maybe the best. There's and he's only in it for maybe 5 minutes of screen time, but it's a great adaptation of Luke, the continuation of his story, and then also I love playing as a clone, shooting droids. It's just a fun time. There's so many fun modes to play in that game. And so I really do enjoy Battlefront 2. And then also I did have Call of Duty as well. Me and my brother, again, we played, I think the one we played the most was probably Call of Duty Ghosts, which isn't one of the best ones, but it's just the one that we had the longest, and we got so used to the maps that we just played it over and over and over. We also had a good time with World War II, which I think is actually an underrated Call of Duty game. I haven't played some of the newer ones. I know there's like 6 Black Ops or something. I've only played the first 2 Black Ops back on like the Xbox 360. But Call of Duty's fun. I'll play it every once in a while if I'm feeling that itch. But those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah, not bad. I think Call of Duty World War II is my first Call of Duty game, and I think I got that on the PlayStation Portable, the PSP.
Wow, PSP.
If you can remember back that far, yeah.
That was
so a while ago. But I've played on a few different consoles. I think my very first was a PlayStation 2. I think my oldest brother had a PlayStation 2 way back when. I think I graduated to an Xbox 360. No, I'm sorry, to a PS3, and then with the PS3, I also had a PSP, I believe, at the same time.
Nice.
And then this was before, if you can believe it, this was before iPhones and mobile games and things like that. So the PSP was kind of ahead of its time, a mobile gaming device. And then from there, I went to Xbox 360. Had that for a few years, and then I've stuck with PlayStation 4 and most recently PlayStation 5. So I've played on most, if not all, the consoles. I haven't played on PC, and I haven't played on an Xbox One, but I have played on my fair share of different consoles, and that's going to come into play with the games that I choose as well. So I'll start us off with the number 5 that I have. This game, it's the OG of these types of games, in my opinion. It's a completely different console than the ones I named. There are different game modes. There's different practice modes for those game modes. But at number 5, I have Wii Sports. I think that is one of the most nostalgic, everybody played it type games. You could golf, you could play tennis, you could bowl, you could box. If you had the nunchuck thing, you could box too. You could play baseball. But my favorite thing was, my favorite game mode was the bowling. And the power throws bowling mode was the kind of the practice mode, where you would start out with like 10 pins and you'd try to get a strike, or you'd try to knock down as many pins as you could. And then you'd go to 20 pins, and then you'd go to 30 and 40 until like you've got like 100 pins or 90 pins or something like that in a bowling lane, and you're trying to knock as many as you can down. I can't tell you how many times I played that game mode trying to get as many pins as I could. And so it's a game that you can't beat. It's a game that it's like going bowling. Like until you get a perfect score, well, play it again, and you're probably not going to get a perfect score again. So you can't really beat it. It's got different game modes, and it's a sports game, which is kind of my forte when it comes to video games. And so I think Wii Sports was kind of the OG of sports games. And the Wii was kind of its own console. I mentioned Mario Kart as an honorable mention for my list. I almost picked Mario Kart over Wii Sports, but with Mario Kart, it's beatable as well too, because there's only a certain amount of maps and levels or difficulties. So I had Wii Sports at number 5. I think the Wii is an underrated console. They're hard to find nowadays. People still have them. Me and my wife actually bought a wedding present for one of our friends last year, and it was a Wii. They wanted a Wii for their wedding, and so we bought them a Wii and some games, obviously, to go with it. So the Wii was really popular for a while. It was kind of the I guess console to have, and it was the good thing about it was it made you active. I think that was kind of part of the reasoning behind it. It was a video game that also made you move, because you could play Just Dance, you could play obviously Wii Sports. I remember they had like footboards that you could stand on, and you could do like workouts.
I had one of those.
Yeah,
that's right.
You could do like workouts on them, and I remember the Olympics, Wii Olympics or something like that, Mario Olympics.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Yes,
that
one
great
was a lot
game.
of fun too.
Loved it.
And you could like ski with that footboard thing, and throw the javelin and all that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. The Wii was a lot of fun. It was fun to kind of think back on all those games that went with that console. So I had Wii Sports at number 5.
And that's a great pick. Wii Sports is a classic. So I miss the Wii sometimes. That was a great console. You're right. Very underrated. And to this day, I still, like, when I go bowling, I still think about Wii bowling right before I release the ball. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. The spin and where to line up.
Yes, exactly.
Where to aim your arrows and things like that. Yeah,
exactly. For my number 5. Y'all know at this point how much of a Spider-Man fan that I am. And I think outside of Spider-Man 2, which I regard as the greatest superhero movie of all time, and outside of maybe Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is in the running for one of my favorite animated movies of all time, there has never been a greater Spider-Man story told in any medium, outside of the comics, of course, than Insomniac's Spider-Man for the PS4. I absolutely love this game. The game nails the swinging mechanics so well. You feel like you're Spider-Man just flying through New York, swinging around. It nails the combat. There's so many different, so many creative ways that Spider-Man can fight that you wouldn't even think of, and they managed to put it all in this game. You know how Tom Holland kind of has like the crazy Iron Spider suit and it does all this crazy stuff, but you only get to see a little bit of it, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is like that, but you get to explore all of the settings in that suit, and you get to do it playing Spider-Man yourself. And so it's so much fun. And the suit is beautiful. I love the suit. It might be my favorite Spider-Man suit. The one with the big white spider in the middle of it. But I think more than that, more importantly than that, than all that great stuff, it nails Peter Parker's heart, right? So the story is so heartwarming. It's emotional. It's you get it's intimate with these characters. The stakes feel real. The world feels alive. It's such a great campaign, and most importantly, I think you feel the weight of responsibility in every decision you make as Spider-Man, and you feel the weight of responsibility as Peter. And while you definitely get to play more as Spider-Man in this game, you also have some pretty weighty levels that you have to play as Peter Parker as well. And the cutscenes are so cinematic. It's everything a Spider-Man game should be. It's heroic. It's human. Let's see here. Like I said, character-driven storytelling. That's a big one for me. I do love a good campaign. If a campaign can make me feel like I'm watching a movie or controlling a movie, then I am a big fan of that. And what I love about this Spider-Man story is that you jump in. He's already been Spider-Man for 8 years. You don't have to replay another origin story. He's like at the peak of his powers. He's in his late 20s or mid 20s, I guess. And then like I said, you get that dual conflict of being Peter Parker, being Spider-Man, just like Spider-Man 2 shows, everything Spider-Man does right takes a toll on Peter Parker for the worst, because he has to sacrifice what he loves to be Spider-Man and to save New York from all these crazy villains. Speaking of villains, Doc Ock it ends up being the main villain of this story. He's a tragic figure, just like he was in Spider-Man 2. Maybe that's why I like this game so much. Is that it pulls a lot from what I love about my favorite superhero movie. In a lot of ways, it does it just as good. Like I said, each cutscene is so cinematic. The themes of responsibility, sacrifice, loss are all there, like they should be in a great Spider-Man story. New York feels like a living, breathing place. Like in a bunch of games, the setting, I think, holds a lot of weight. And New York in this game is so cool. They even put in Avengers Tower just yep. for funsies. And so it's tons of fun to swing around New York, interact with all the different people. And it's a unique Spider-Man story that we haven't seen before. It's not rehashing anything from the movies or from the animated shows, and so I am a huge fan of Insomniac's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think I played that a lot with you while we were in college. I think that was one of our games we played. Before I go on, I meant to mention this at the very start. Video games are so personal, I think, because that was nowhere near my honorable mention or top 5. But like you said, maybe that's why, because you're such a big Spider-Man fan. That's a big reason why you like the game. I'm a big basketball fan. I'm a big sports fan, and that's why I've got sports and basketball games in my top 5. Right. If you're a person who likes, Call of Duties and like World of Warcraft, or if you're a guy who likes video games like that, then you're probably not playing Wii Sports. You're probably not playing, Madden and things like that, because that's just not what you want to do. And that's the beauty of video games, is there's so many different categories and different genres that it kind of speaks to everybody. Whether you're a big video game player or not, there's probably a video game out there for you just because it relates to your likes and dislikes. So Yeah, I enjoyed the Spider-Man 2. I thought it was a fun game. It was one of those. I like a good campaign as well. But like I said at the start, I want games that I'm not just gonna beat and then just kind of roam around. But it is pretty fun swinging as Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie on that video game. So
It's a good time.
all right, number 4.
All right. My number 4 is, so look, I'm not a D&D guy, Dungeons and Dragons guy. Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
I can't say that I have, unfortunately.
Nope. But and while I've never actually played Dungeons and Dragons, I've always enjoyed the idea of it. I've just never had friends that did that. But I've always enjoyed the idea of getting your best buds together and hopping into, a fun adventure that you literally create as you go along. It sounds like what gaming should be in its purest form. Does that make sense?
I agree with that. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So like I said, while I've never played a game of D&D in my life, my experience with this game that I have in my number 4 spot might just change that because and that game, for those of you who haven't guessed yet, is Baldur's Gate 3. Have you heard of this game?
I have heard of Baldur's Gate. Yes.
Baldur's Gate.
Never played it. Don't have any idea what it is, but I've seen pictures and trailers and stuff.
Right. So I think that Baldur's Gate 3, for those of you who don't know, it's based on one of the versions of D&D. And so that's kind of like the foundation of this game, and then it builds on it in video game form. But I think that Baldur's Gate 3 isn't just a great fantasy role-playing game, which it is, but it's also maybe the definitive modern Dungeons and Dragons experience. And I think it's the most immersive, reactive, and one of the most narratively rich fantasy worlds ever put to a video game. Maybe the most. This is a role-playing game, and so you go and you create your character, and then you're right into the story, and you're not playing like, in some games you're kind of playing the chosen one, and you get to be everything at once. This game forces you to choose what you're going to be good at. So, like, are you going to be a bard that just stands over here and plays the guitar while your buds are slaying all the people and just be a funny guy? Or are you going to be a wizard or somebody that can use a sword, a paladin, or whatever it is? And so there's so many options for customizing your character, so many races that you can be as well, fantasy races, elves, orcs, Githyanki, all that stuff you D&D people know. But the story itself, you don't just follow the story, you're able to craft it. Like I said, every decision, big or small, shapes who your character becomes and how the world reacts to your character as well. So your choices have consequences, which a lot of games, your choices don't have that many consequences. But here you can say something in Act 1 and it's going to affect something in Act 3. And you might not even know it's going to affect that thing that you said in Act 1. It's going to affect that thing in Act 3, but it does. And so you have to think about what you're going to say to these characters, how you're going to interact with these characters in the game. And that makes the gameplay, I think, it makes it feel uniquely yours because no two people are going to have the exact same gameplay, which is really cool. Like, you could create a player and you could interact with the world, and I guarantee you are not going to interact with every single thing identically. And so every gameplay from every person is completely unique, and that's pretty cool. The characters are super memorable, and there's a bunch of moral ambiguity going on, so there's no clear right or wrong choices, and you kind of have to define that for yourself. And so that's an interesting dilemma within the game that does have consequences. The world itself is cool. You can explore so many different landscapes, ancient ruins, goblin camps, battlefields. Everything's packed with atmosphere. Everything's packed with lore. And like I said, everything reacts to your character and your decisions. Um, and it's not, like I said, for those of you who haven't played D&D, it took me a second to get on the wavelength of this game because it's turn-based. And so what I mean by turn-based is like in most open world games, you could just go and attack and control it just like you're controlling, your Madden character. You know what I mean? Um, but this game, you have to choose exactly what to do. When you're in combat, you have to choose one thing to do. So you could either slice somebody with your sword, and that can be your one turn. You go slice, and then it's up. Now it's the enemy's turn, like you're playing a game of chess. So and that was really strange because I'd never played a game like that before. Like I said, never played D&D, and it took a second to get onto that wavelength. But once I did, it was really rewarding to figure out how to play this kind of 3D chess inside of this fantasy world, and that was a lot of fun. And you have so much freedom to experiment with different things. Just about everything in this world you can interact with. You can knock over a statue, make it fall on somebody, or blow up a barrel, or whatever it is. And then really the last thing is the cinematics. This game looks so great. The voice acting is top tier, and there's drama, there's comedy, there's even romance. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff in this game. It's so customizable, and it's a good time, and it's one that I haven't beaten yet. So, and I don't know that I will ever. I mean, I probably will 100% the game at some point, but I just get so like I want to explore so many different types of gameplays. Like at first I created a bard, then I went and created a paladin, and I haven't finished either one of those because they're so fun to just go back and forth and play with. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. That is my number 4.
Yeah, that's not one I would play, and that goes back to our point of video games are based on what you want and what you like. The turn thing is weird to me. I don't know if I would like that. It sounds like a board game, kind of like and like you said, chess is a board game, but like you get it's almost more strategic, I would think, because you have to make your move, and then you kind of have to play off of their move, and then they play off your move, and it's a little more strategic, it sounds like. So
definitely more strategic, and it's not one of those games where you can just spam the square button and just slice and dice over and over and over. You have to actually think about how you're going to win the fight. You have to be kind of like the general of the battle and figure out how you're going to win against these people. And if not, you just retreat. So but
that is something fun. I think I would like. I don't. The UFCs and the WWEs where you just kind of spam a bunch of buttons and hope something good happens. Those games can get Mortal Kombat. Those games can kind of get old pretty quick. All right. Well, my number 4 is I'm going mobile game on this ranking. Number 4 for me is a mobile / computer game. It came out when I was a kid. And it's only gotten better. As of right now, there are 6 versions of this game, kind of like Baldur's Gate 3. It's the 6th version of this game. In my opinion, it's the GOAT of mobile games. So the games that you can download on your phone, download on your iPad or tablets. I think this is the GOAT of those games. And let me just name a few that I think it's better than, because you've probably heard of all of them. Candy Crush, I think it's better than that. Okay. Clash of Clans.
Ooh, I thought that was going to be the pick.
Yep. Okay. Temple Run, that's an old one, but it was one that was played a lot.
That was fun.
Subway Surfers, that was an old one, but it was one of the most downloaded games at the time. Mm-hmm. And then to really jog your memory, Flappy Bird. I don't know if you remember Flappy Bird or not.
I do remember Flappy Bird.
That was one of the first, this makes me want to throw my phone type games. So at number 4, I've got Bloons Tower Defense 6. Yeah.
All right.
Nice. So Bloons Tower Defense the first one came out when I was in elementary school, and I specifically remember playing it on Cool Math for Kids in like computer class. And then Bloons Tower Defense 2 came out, and basically it was just like more maps, and maybe a couple more heroes, a couple more monkeys, and then 3, 4, 5 came out, and then the latest one is 6. I have it downloaded on my phone, and it is my go-to game for I'm kind of bored. I'm sitting in an airport and I don't really have anything to do, or I'm sitting in a waiting room and just kind of don't want to just mindlessly scroll on social media. And so I've got Bloons Tower Defense 6 at number 4. It is I guess you could say it is beatable, but it would take you a very, very, very long time to beat it. There are more and more maps all the time. You can make your own creative mode where you can tell which balloons when to come and how fast they show up and things like that. For those of you that don't know, Bloons Tower Defense is you have a bunch of monkeys. It's going to sound really goofy, but you got a bunch of monkeys throwing darts at balloons. and these balloons, each level, they get a little harder and they get a little more layers to them. So it takes a few more darts to pop these balloons. So you've got to upgrade your monkeys, and then you get some monkeys that have different powers. And so anyway, that's kind of the purpose of it. But there's more and more maps. There's a bunch of different game modes as well, where you can only have these types of monkeys. You can only have monkeys that throw fire, or you can only have monkeys that freeze the balloons, or military monkeys, or like I said, there's a bunch more. But there's a lot of game modes. There's also a bunch of maps, and then there's endless possibilities per game. So one easy round or one easy game of Bloons Tower Defense is 40 rounds. Okay, and so the first round, it's like 15 or 20 of the one layered balloons. And then you get all the way to round 40, and you're basically trying to pop this blimp, which it's called the mother of all balloons, but it looks like a blimp, like the Michelin blimp, or the blimp from Up or something like that. And that's level 40. Well, that's only the end of the easy rounds. Once you're done, you can continue and play in free play mode or creative. No, it's free play, I think. And you can just continue to go round after round after round, and the balloons continue to get harder and harder, and you continue to upgrade your monkeys. So round 40 on easy, 60 rounds on medium, so 20 more rounds, and you beat the medium level. 80 rounds on hard, and then there's 100 rounds on the impoppable mode. So once you get past 100 rounds, you've technically beaten each mode, but you can keep going in the free play.
Okay.
So I Googled. The farthest I've ever gotten is like round 210 or something like that. Like you can't even see what's going on the screen because you've got so many monkeys and so many darts flying around and things like this. Right. So I think that's about as far as I've gotten is the early 200s. But I chat GPT'd, does Bloons Tower Defense 6 end at any point, like in the free play mode? Because I would think, wow, level 200, like how much farther could you go?
Right.
It says the game does have a technical round cap at round 10,000.
Jeez, that's insane.
Yeah. So somewhere, I guess I need a YouTube or Google or something of somebody playing round 9,999, because I can't imagine what that looks like on an iPhone screen.
Wow.
And so it says each balloon, there's 200 fortified BADs, and each one of those fortified balloons has 4 billion health. So 4 billion layers that those monkeys are going to have to pop through in order to kill it. So it says in practice, most players find that progressing beyond round 400 becomes exceedingly difficult. Like I said, I've only gotten to about 200.
Yeah.
There's no official last level. So that kind of goes into you can't beat it, and that's another reason it's in my top 5 because you can just play it over and over. And it's a little bit of a switch up. So I've got a Wii, I've got a mobile game. I don't want to play the same games on the same consoles over and over. I kind of want to switch it up if I'm stuck on this desert island. And so
That's fair.
I've got my favorite and I think the best mobile game of all time. I've got Bloons Tower Defense 6 at number 4. Have you ever played Bloons Tower Defense?
I have. Definitely not 6, but I've at least
you
played.
need to try it out.
Let's say I've at least played 1 or 2.
Yeah,
but I do remember playing it at some point. I can't remember when they first came out, but yeah, it was a fun game. I need to check out the 6th version, I guess.
Yeah, I can't wait for the 7th version if they come out with one.
See if I can get to around 10,000.
Yeah, good luck with that. All right, so that's my 4. Number 3, we're getting into the top 3 of our video games of all time, or video games that you would take on a desert island. For me, it's probably my at least 2 of my 3 are my favorite video games of all time. But number 3 for me, this video game has changed video games more than any other video game ever. It's the most impactful, and I don't think this is debatable. It's the most impactful video game of all time. It's literally changed the way people play video games, the way video games are even viewed nowadays has changed because of this game. Different age groups can play this game, from elementary to grown men. There are people who get sponsorships for this game. People play this game for a living. They video themselves playing this game for a living. There are live competitions for $1 million prizes and more for this game. There's Super Bowl commercials for this game. And in this game, there are so many, I don't know the correct terminology, but references to other things, such as Star Wars is in this game, the Avengers is in this game, the NBA is in this game, the NFL is in this game, different pop and music stars are in this game, different movies are in this game. And so if you haven't figured it out by now, my number 3 is Fortnite. Because of all the things I just listed, the best thing about this game, I think, is that it's free. It costs $0 other than the console. It costs $0 to play this game. And for whatever reason, it's still free. It started out free, and it turned into, like I said, I think the most impactful video game of all time. And it's still free. You can still download it for free wherever you're playing it. The different collabs, that's what I was looking for. I have a skin on when I play Fortnite as Jack Sparrow. I'm Jack Sparrow when I play Fortnite.
Nice.
And somebody else is Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody else is Travis Scott. And then somebody else is just a random
Vader
character. Yeah, Darth Vader. You can be Iron Man. You can be Deadpool. You can be whoever you want to be, because there's been so many collabs in this video game. So it's very impressive to me how this video game has changed the way video games are viewed. I don't remember. I think probably before video games were as big as they are now, people did stream video games. But I think Fortnite changed the view on streaming. I think it changed, and it turned people into, hey, maybe I can play video games for a living. and maybe I can video myself doing this and make a bunch of money, because a lot of people do. And a lot of
And
people tune in to watch it.
and not only that, but everyone wants to do battle royales now. In every single game, there's battle royales. So yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
I'm telling you, it's changed. It's really, I think, changed the way at least those gun type games, those fighting type games play. Because Call of Duty has a battle royale version. PUBG came out pretty shortly after Fortnite and kind of had their own version of Fortnite. Um, and I also think, I played video games before Fortnite, but um, I also think it's changed the way video games or why you play video games. For me, and I think this is true for a lot of people that play. When you play online, you're playing video games to hang out with friends. So for me, the only time I get on PlayStation, or the only time I play my video games, is when I play with other friends. I don't, unless I'm just, really bored, or I'm playing a different game.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time when I'm playing my video games, I'm playing with friends. Um, because video games have turned into um, going outside and playing basketball in the driveway, or getting an airsoft
Yeah.
gun, and you get an airsoft gun and we have an airsoft war, or a Nerf gun war, or riding our bikes around town. Like, video games have turned into the socialization between friends, because you can have mics and you can talk to each other and you can play with each other from your own home. And I've seen that, being a teacher coach, I've seen that, from teenagers when they're done with practice. Hey, let's get on the game tonight and let's play. They're still hanging out with each other. It's just in a different way. Now, whether I think it's good or bad is a different conversation. But it is still the same concept of friends hanging out with friends and playing a game together. It's just a video game instead of football in the backyard or basketball in the driveway. So Fortnite, once again, I think it's the most impactful video game of all time. I think it's literally changed the way video games are designed and the way they are played forever. I don't think we'll go back to just kind of playing by yourself more than playing with friends. So Fortnite for me, and nowadays it has creative mode, and it has different users can create different games, and there's thousands of these different game modes that you can play that other people have created and uploaded to this game. And so it's the most impactful video game of all time. It's the most known, I think, maybe, of all time. You're paying money for a game that's free. Like, you can play this game for free, or you can spend a whole bunch of money on it, getting different skins and buying battle passes and getting different rewards for reaching different goals, and things like that. So I think Fortnite has changed the way video games are played, and I really like playing Fortnite. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I've got it listed at number 3.
That is a great pick. I don't play Fortnite as much.
You weren't a big Fortnite guy.
No, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I was never that big of an online gamer.
Yeah.
I didn't get PlayStation Network until like maybe college. Like all through high school, I didn't really play online games, and that's probably why I was bothering my brother so much to play with me. It's because I didn't
Well, let
have
me tell you,
online.
we got to get you on it, because online gaming changes the way you play video games. I'm just letting you know.
I do have it
Play with
now.
some friends, yeah,
Right.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, and I do have it now, and like some of my honorable mentions, like Battlefront 2 and a couple other things I've played online, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy partaking in some online gaming every once in a while. For my number 3, I do not have Fortnite. I have a game that is, if you've ever wondered what it's like to live in the Wild West, to be Jesse James, to be Billy the Kid, then Red Dead Redemption will show you what that's like. It's such an amazing game. I love the story in this game. I would classify it as an epic western. On something as good as the Big Country. Y'all know that was in my top 10 movies of all time, my favorite western of all time. Well, this is just as cinematic, just as immersive as that movie, even more so in the immersive part of it. It's an epic western. It's the cinematics are beautiful. The landscapes are so detailed that it makes you feel completely immersed in that world. It feels lived in. You can interact with just about every character and just about every building. You could do tons of crazy stuff, but just the crunch of the snow underneath your cowboy boots, the whinny of your horse, the sunsets in this game, it makes you feel like you're in that world. It makes you feel like you're in the Wild West and you're a cowboy back then. And not only that, but the story in this game, because you're thrown in you're part of a basically like a train robber gang back in the Wild West, part of the Vanderlyn gang, led by Dutch Vanderlyn himself, and you play as Arthur Morgan. The reason I think this game is also an elegy, and it's, for those of you that don't know, that's like a funeral speech.
That was my next question, so thank you.
Yeah, so it's like a speech that you give at a funeral, and the reason I say that is because it's an elegy for the Wild West. You're thrown in. The story takes place right at the end of the Wild West, so these outlaws are dealing with kind of the birth of what we kind of categorize as like modern civilization. It's not as lawless as it used to be, and they're getting older, and they're realizing that what they're doing is they're just becoming regular old thugs. It's losing its romanticism, and you can see that unfold with the main character of Arthur Morgan, which is who you get to play as. And I think that Arthur Morgan is the greatest video game character of all time. So I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Internet, y'all can let me know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, comments. Y'all tell me if that's a hot take. But yeah, I think Arthur Morgan is the greatest video game character of all time. And the reason for that is because he's a guy that's torn between duty to his gang and conscience. So, and as the Old West is kind of gasping its final breaths, you can see Arthur Morgan struggle with, do I continue this way of being an outlaw, or should I change my ways? And that is part of his character arc. He evolves from a loyal outlaw that's kind of willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done, to a deeply reflective guy that's seeking redemption. Thus the name Red Dead Redemption. He's trying to redeem himself from his outlaw ways. And like I said, there's emotional depth in this story. It's the performance by Roger Clark is the guy that voices Arthur. And he does such a great job. Arthur's voice is so memorable. Me and my brother-in-law will constantly quote Arthur Morgan to each other. It's a good time. But the player connection, so the moral choices, so Arthur's personality is kind of defined by the choices that you make in this game. So the more evil stuff you do in this game, the more he's going to turn into a terrible person, and it's going to affect his outcome at the end. The more you do that's good in this game, it's going to affect his morality, and he's going to end up doing, and it's going to change the outcome of the story. Arthur is, either way, Arthur's a tragic hero. I don't want to give spoilers if you haven't played the game till the end, but it's very poignant at the end, and it leaves a definite emotional impact, and at least it did on me, and that's why I think he's the greatest video game character of all time. And I think that this game, like, Westerns used to be the most popular genre in the world, right? For movies back in the 50s and 60s, and they've kind of fallen off since then. I mean, Westerns don't make money like they used to. You know what I mean? And I think this generation kind of revitalized the West in a very interesting way for a whole new generation. People that, the old guys that talk about watching The Searchers when they were kids and stuff like that. I think when our generation's old, we're going to be talking about playing Red Dead Redemption, and it's just that's just where culture is, and that's where we are. But there's so many fun, hilarious things that you can do in this game. You can rob a train, you can lasso people and just drag them behind your horse, feed them to alligators if you want. It's a fun time.
It's a game. It's virtual.
Yeah. It's
not
virtual.
Real.
I mean, if there's any place where you're going to explore those urges, it's a video game. It's a safe place, everybody.
Be glad we're doing it on a video game.
You can start bar fights in just about every town you go into, and you can drink in this game, and those effects do happen to the main player.
Yep.
But you can customize your Western getup, which is a big part of being in the Wild West, is picking out your favorite cowboy hat and your favorite pistols and all that good stuff. So you can make Arthur look like whatever kind of cowboy you want him to. And also, if you don't eat, you're gonna get skinny in this game. You have to eat. You got
to feed your horse too.
Yeah, you have to feed your horse, or he's just gonna wither away and die. And so it's a very it's survival mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in the game, and you gotta act like it. And so, and also, if you wanted, this is what I think what's so great about this game too, is if you wanted to just treat this like the best hunting game that was ever invented, you could. Because each animal that you can document has its own there's a compendium, so you can write down each animal that you see, each animal that you hunt. You can hunt them, you can build your own fire, and then you can cook them right there at camp, and then you could give some to your horse or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And so it's such an immersive game, and I love cowboy stuff, and so there's really no better cowboy game than Red Dead Redemption 2 in my book.
I like it. Like I said at the start, I had that in my top 5 at one point before I made some changes, but I like that pick. I love Red Dead Redemption. You can play that online as well. You can run around as a cowboy and fight other cowboys in the Red Dead world. So. Yeah, that is a fun game. It does have one of those good campaigns. I enjoyed that campaign a lot. Trying to beat that game. Enjoyed the storyline too. Like you said earlier, it's kind of like with the Spider-Man. You're in a movie and you're controlling the movie. And then kind of with Baldur's Gate 2. I mean Baldur's Gate 3 as well.
Right.
The decisions you make affect your character. Some video games, it doesn't matter what you do, and but in Red Dead, whatever you do definitely does affect later on. So, I like Red Dead at number 3. I'm good with that.
Nice. All right, into the top 2.
Top 2.
For my number 2, I have the game that I have played maybe the most in my life, definitely the most with other people. Like many of you listeners know by now, basketball is my favorite sport of all time.
He likes the way we dribble up and down the court.
And NBA basketball is my favorite sport to watch on TV of all time. And it's one thing to watch it, but it's an entirely different thing to experience it and to participate in it. And I don't think there's any game that lets you do that better than NBA 2K.
Yep.
No, it's not a perfect game, and it'll never be a perfect game because it doesn't need to be a perfect game to sell copies.
Nope. Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's not why people are buying this game. In fact, there's a lot that I just despise about the NBA 2K sludge factory. That's just conveyor belt style yearly releases that don't improve on the past one at all.
And yet we still buy it.
And yet we still buy it. I think the conveyor belt style is as creatively bankrupt as like Disney remaking their animated classics into live action. It's just, what are you doing? But it's whatever. I guess we just ran out of ideas.
Yeah. Where's all our creativity?
But that said, none of those detractors can take away from the endless hours of just pure joy that I've had while playing this game. From forcing my little brother to play an abusive amount of quick games to the outrageous amounts of my franchises and my careers, and to the games that me and you have played together over the years, from the time we were kids all the way through college, and then even after college.
Yep. You know, as adults.
As a father, I've played 2K.
Yeah.
But that's why this game ranks so high for me. It has nothing to do with the quality of my career or anything else like that, or any of the online microtransaction fueled nonsense. This game means so much to me because of the memories that I've made, you know, sitting next to friends in my room in person with 2 controllers, and laughing our heads off, you know, getting pissed at each other, hitting insane buzzer beaters with players that would never be able to do that.
Yep.
Like Yao Ming, just from half court buzzer beater, throwing down windmill, you know, doing stuff that only the players on our top 10 lists can do.
Right.
There's never another chance that, you know, there's no other way that we would be able to do that stuff if it wasn't for this game. And so it doesn't matter what year 2K, like I said, it's all just the same game over and over. What matters for this game and why it's ranked so high, number 2 of my favorite video games ever, is because of the people that you play it with. And there's certainly no game that I've played with people more than NBA 2K. So that's why I have it at number 2.
Yeah, 2K is I'll just go ahead and say it's my number 2 as well.
Nice.
NBA 2K is my number 2. I'll ditto to everything you said, and then I'll add the online presence of the game as well, because I can play with friends from high school, and we don't have to be sitting next to each other.
Right.
It's more fun when you are, because you can talk a little smack, and you can play different against different teams and things like that. But you can play online as well. You can create your own players. For all you listeners out there who once wanted to be in the NBA, you can do that on this game. You can name yourself your own name. You can create your own archetype. And if you wanted to be a stretch 5 like Dirk or a stretch 4 like Dirk, you can do that. If you wanted to be a shooting guard like Michael Jordan, you can do that. If you want to be the best point guard of all time, you can do that. And you can make it as realistic or as not realistic as you want. If you wanted to be the best player of all time and nobody could stop you, and you wanted to go Wilt Chamberlain and average 50, you can do that, because you can set your skill to 99 overall and nobody can stop you. And it's very fun at times, and then it gets really boring, and so you go back to the realistic, or you go to a different game mode, or you play for a different team. Yeah. No, Hall of Fame is the most unrealistic, because the computer doesn't miss ever, whether you're playing good defense or not.
Just have Steph go 0 for 10, just wide open.
Because that happens. That's why he's not in Books' top 10, because he had a bad experience one time on 2K.
Hall of Fame 2K Steph is the worst.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's by far the game that I've played the most in my life, still play the most. It's my favorite game to play with friends, without friends. You can play against the computer, and it's, you know, you're a big movie guy and a sports guy as well. It's the same concept as controlling a movie. You're controlling the NBA and what happens in the NBA. If you don't like that Nico Harrison traded Luka Doncic, guess what? You can go play NBA 2K and you can keep Luka on the Mavs, and you can control what could have been. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But you can do that. You have the option to do that. Or you can trade Anthony Davis back for Luka, and you can make it the way it was. Or you can completely make a new team. You can completely make a new expansion team and pick a new city and design uniforms and pick new players. And you can do a draft lottery of every single player ever played in the NBA. And you can do a fantasy draft with the current teams. And you can draft Bill Russell, and then you can turn around and draft Steph Curry, and then you can turn around and draft, Marcus Smart. So it is a lot of fun. It's by far the game I've played the most. It is my favorite game of all time. That's even though it's number 2 on my list of Desert Island games, it is my favorite game of all time. There's endless possibilities, and I think being a big basketball fan goes into having it at number 2 as well. So we've got the same number 2. I wonder if we have the same number 1. Guess we're about to find out.
There's no way. There's no way.
I don't know. So my number one, it is not my favorite video game of all time. Okay. We are ranking. If I had to bring one video game with me to a desert island, I would bring this game, but it is not my favorite game.
Interesting.
If that makes any sense. And I'll kind of explain my reasoning behind that. This game is truly never ending that I know of. I don't think there's a way to end this. There's unlimited possibilities that you can do all sorts of things on this game. In my opinion, this game is basically the virtual version of Legos. And so at number 1, I have Minecraft.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not see that coming.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not my favorite game of all time, but it's one of those games that you can drop for 2 months, and then you can just pick it right back up, and you can keep doing what you're doing, keep building on what you were building, keep digging holes, keep building bridges and houses, and there's some lava, and then build some waterfalls, and it really is a fun game for when you're really, really bored.
It really is, yeah.
I wouldn't play it like I don't play it online. I wouldn't play it. It wouldn't be my first choice of a game, but it would be the game that I would play over and over and over and over and over again because there is endless possibilities and there is endless things. Really, Minecraft and 2K are kind of a 1A, 1B. I would be fine with either of those as my number 1. But you can't beat Minecraft. I actually kind of Googled or ChatGPT'd, can you? And they said the closest thing to beating it, you include a dimension called the End, where you fight the Ender Dragon. So there is kind of a campaign, not really a campaign, but a survival mode, I guess, of Minecraft. And there's also a creative mode. So survival mode is kind of what it's talking about. But the game doesn't actually end. You can just keep building and you can keep exploring. There are videos of people building things in Minecraft that is absolutely astonishing how they have done this and how long it took them. Like you think Legos, seriously, think about Legos and some of the Lego cities that you've seen and Lego characters and Lego buildings and things like that. Like it's that, but it's just virtual. So it takes the same amount of hours and it takes not really the same amount of skill, but the same amount of creativity. And if you haven't, like, seriously, go Google or go YouTube Minecraft cities or coolest Minecraft buildings or coolest Minecraft creations or something like that. Because it really is super cool what some people are capable of doing with just cubes. Like that's what Minecraft is. It's just a bunch of cubes built out of different things: dirt, grass, water, steel, wood, It's all the same stuff. It's just a bunch of cubes that they're putting together, kind of like Legos. Legos are a little bit different. They don't have all the same shape, but it's the same concept of that creativity, finding different shapes and finding different materials and building different things. So I've got Minecraft at number one. They made a freaking movie about it. Like, it's a video game and they made a movie about it. It's that popular. It's kind of like Fortnite, in my opinion. It's one of those games that any age can play, and I think any age has played. I've got a little niece that plays the game, and then I play it. Like 20 years of difference, and we're both playing the same game.
Yeah.
It's also very accessible. You can get it on any console. The first time I played it was on a mobile device, and so you can play it on a mobile device. So you can take it with you. You can play it at home. You can play it in different ways. It's just, I think it's the most open-ended game there is, because there isn't in any end. So I've got Minecraft. Even though it's not my favorite game of all time, I would probably pick that to be my number one game I would take on a desert island.
That is a great pick. I did not even consider Minecraft, but that makes a lot of sense, because you can do, it's just endless, things that you can build in Minecraft. And I bet that's a fun game for all those engineers out there. I've seen them create some crazy stuff in Minecraft.
Seriously, if you're listening, as soon as you stop listening, finish the episode first, and then give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe. Then when you're done with that, go YouTube.
Leave a comment as well.
Leave a comment. Yep, we'll mention you probably, maybe not. But leave a comment, and then go YouTube, Minecraft, like best Minecraft videos or something, and you'll probably fall into a rabbit hole. Like, you get on TikTok and you just scroll for 2 hours. That's why I deleted the app. But you just keep scrolling and keep scrolling, because you just keep watching videos. You're going to do that with these Minecraft videos, because it's very impressive.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that right after this episode, actually.
Yeah.
So that's a great pick. For my number one, I have the game that I've by far played the most. I think it's in a run. It's either this or 2K, and I think this, just by nature of the kind of game it is, where you're just continuously playing it. I think this probably takes the most hours. And that game is the Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim.
I was wondering if Skyrim was going to be on your list.
Oh, man, is it on my list. This is my favorite video game of all time, and it's not even close. Like I said, 2K is my favorite to play with people, but if I had to choose one game to exist for the rest of time, it would be Skyrim. Just being in the world of Skyrim is enough to make me happy. It's worth the price of admission. It was worth the $60 just to chill and walk on a trail in Skyrim. I guess it's technically in the world it's a province, but the province of Skyrim is so expansive, so full of rich history, so packed with characters and races, and so open for possibility, and so open for exploration. And that's my favorite thing to do in this game, is explore. That's why I love it so much. There are 9 major cities. They each have their own kind of architecture. They each have their own kind of quests that you can discover and go on, and they each have their own guilds, and they each even have their own culture to explore. It's like you're going to a huge. It's like going from New York to Dallas to Chicago. It's like there's all these different types of cultures that you can be a part of within this game. And for all of you that know the game, Solitude is my favorite city. It's like the London or the New York City of Skyrim. It's bustling with stuff to do, with people to talk to, people to fight, things to steal if you're a thief, and some real estate that your character can buy. If you want a nice house in town, you can go buy yourself a house in Solitude and other places. But even in between all those cities, there are tons of small towns that you can go to. And then in between, when you're traveling to and from each one of these different settlements, in between it all is the most breathtaking landscapes that I've ever seen in a video game. Mountains, lakes, rivers, rolling hills. There's vast open fields with just giants just huddling around a fire, just doing whatever giants do. Endless caves that you can explore and fight the undead, if there are any undead in there. Bears, and there's tons of wildlife. The weather is it's all wrapped up in a weather system where it's raining and of course just like Red Dead, it might rain and you don't think twice about it. You know what I mean? Because it just feels like it's part of the world. It might start snowing depending on where you are. If you're at the top of the mountain, if you're on High Hrothgar, it's definitely going to be snowing. And then some animator even took the time to animate some ants crawling on rocks or butterflies passing by your face, just to make you feel like you're that much more immersed in this world. And then there's also it's filled with outrageously fun distractions and plenty of mischief that will inevitably pull you away from whatever quest that you're trying to accomplish. And then all the while, it's going to ensure that you're way over your carry weight, so you're going to have to drop some stuff pretty quick unless you upgrade your stamina, and that is frustrating. But it's part of the game, and it's still fun. Story wise, it's not the most complex or even well written story of all time, but that's not the main reason I love this game. Story wise, you're the Dragonborn, so you're basically like a Viking. That can have the power of a dragon, and as you grow your powers, throughout the game, your powers grow. Your shouts, your shouts, that's like your dragon power. But you're also caught up in the middle of a civil war. So between the Empire and the rebels, named the Stormcloaks, and so they're rebelling from the Empire. They're led by this guy named Ulfric Stormcloak, and it's up to you how involved you want to get in that. Yes, that's the main story, and if you feel like completing the campaign, you can do that. If you just want to spend your whole time on side quests, exploring all the different guilds and stuff that you can do, you can do that as well. If you just want to, hunt animals, or if you just want to work on your magic, you can do that as well. I mean, there's tons of different avenues to do in this game. And what holds it all together is maybe another hot take, but what I think is the best soundtrack to any game ever. Jeremy Soule is the name of the guy that made the music, but Jeremy Soule's score, it's the foundation of this game. I mean, it's a huge score. There are epic Viking choruses for when you're slaying dragons and absorbing their souls, and there's eerie music for when you're fighting the undead, and then there's quiet, melancholic tracks like Secunda, which is my favorite track on the album. And so if y'all haven't, it's an album that I would just listen to by itself, and I have done that. Just put on the album. Of course you have. I've just if you just put on the Skyrim album on your way to work, trust me, it'll be worth your time. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I might have to do that.
It's so good, and there's so many different tracks. Like I said, Secunda is my favorite. It's the song that plays when you're just exploring. Like I said, it's my favorite part of the game. It's just this, just a little piano melody with some ambient layers in the background, and it just kind of evokes this feeling of stillness, of reflection, and it makes me feel calm, and those are my favorite moments of this game, is when you just kind of have some quiet moments to yourself, just walking around in this world, experiencing the different landscapes, the different cultures. I think Bethesda peaked with this game. Unfortunately, I wish they wouldn't have. I wish there were more. I think Skyrim came out in 2011, and there hasn't been another Elder Scrolls game since. So that's a long time for somebody to wait. It's been, how many years is that? 2011 to 2025? It's 14 years that we've been waiting for the next game, and I don't know if it'll ever happen at this point. We got GTA 6 before the next Elder Scrolls game. And so who would have thought? But I absolutely love Skyrim. I could spend more time than I ought to in that game, just hanging out with my character, fighting different things. It's such a fun game, and that's why I have it at number one.
Number one, Skyrim.
Skyrim.
I did try to play this game. I'm gonna ask a question because I honestly don't know the answer. I did try to play this game at some point, probably because you recommended it.
Probably.
It might have been in our dorm room because I don't think I ever bought it. If I did, it was probably a waste of money for me. What, for those of us that don't know, what is the game? Compare it to something.
So it's
put you on the spot.
It's a fantasy game. So let's get that out of the way. That's where you're playing in. You're playing in a fantasy game.
Correct.
Let me grab my copy here. So here's a little description that I have on the back of my copy. I'm just going to read that real quick. Epic fantasy reborn. Dragons, long lost to the passages of the Elder Scrolls, have returned to Tamriel, and the future of the Empire hangs in the balance. As Dragonborn, the prophesied hero born with the power of the voice, you are the only one who can stand amongst them. So you're like this super-powered Viking. You have the power of the dragons. Ooh. Yeah. You have this,
Viking, okay.
Yes. You're like the super-powered Viking. You have the power of the dragons. Skyrim is the home of the Nords. And so obviously that's drawing some inspiration from Nordic folklore.
Obviously,
and the Nordic people.
I got that before you referenced it.
There you go. And so you're just this big epic, and you can play as whatever race you want. You don't have to be a Nord. That's just kind of like the poster child for Skyrim. But you can play as whatever race. You're in a fantasy setting. You have the power of the dragon. You're kind of going up against the evil dragon. To put it in simple terms as I can,
Please do.
Yes, you have the power. You're the only one that has the power to save the world from this evil dragon that's supposed to bring about the apocalypse. And so that's kind of like the main story that you're engaging with. And then the secondary story that you're engaging with is this civil war in Skyrim. So you can choose to be on the Empire's side, or you can choose to be on the Rebels' side, the Stormcloaks. And you can kind of side with whichever side, and then you determine who wins the Civil War ultimately. So that's pretty cool. And then along the way, you can. It's one of those games where, remember what I said about Baldur's Gate 3, where it forces you to be good at one thing. So it makes you, if you're a bard, you're going to be the best bard in the whole dadgum realm. Well, in Skyrim, you get to be the jack of all trades. You get to be the LeBron James of this universe. You know what I mean? You're good at everything. You're great. If you want to be great at magic, you can be great at magic while also being a great thief, while also being, the most powerful dragonborn person of all time. And you can also be the head of the mages guild. Like, you could be a college professor while also saving the world. It's just, you could do every single thing you can imagine in this game. You fill all the roles, which some people hold against it, but I think that it's fun to be able to do whatever you want in one gameplay. You know what I mean? That's why it takes so long to play this game fully. I don't think I've ever completely done everything you can do in Skyrim, and that's why I have it at number one as well. Is because it's one of those not to the extent of Minecraft, obviously, because that's just endless. But Skyrim is one of those games where I could just get lost in it for weeks, for hours and weeks at a time.
Yeah.
and still not see everything there is to see or talk to everyone there is to talk to or do all the things there is to do. You know what I mean? And so it's a great fantasy game. Like I said, I think Bethesda peaked with this game, and I hope they make another one. But Skyrim is my number one. I hope that was a good enough pitch for all you people that haven't played Skyrim. It came out in 2011, so let's just buy it.
Yeah, it's probably free by now on the PlayStation Store. It's been out 14 years. They have. I did chat GPT a couple of. They have re-released like special editions and anniversary editions for like the newer consoles.
I did get the PS5. I did get the PS5 special edition.
Yeah, so if you're like, well, no, they have released new ones. It's the same game. It's just on the newer consoles.
Right.
So, all right. Well, there you have it. This is probably what was this our fourth Desert Island?
I think so. Yeah.
Episode. So.
This desert island's really coming in handy. It's really making me think about my tastes in different kinds of entertainment. Yeah. So
it's really making me look in the mirror and reflect,
right,
and realize I am not a diverse person whatsoever. I like what I like, and I'm gonna stick with it. I like my comfort zone, and I'm gonna stay in that comfort zone.
Hey, that's all right.
Even though the world is all about getting out of it. So there you have it. That's our top 5 video games we would take to a desert island. Make sure you give us a like. Make sure you follow us. When you follow us on Apple and Spotify, it will notify you like a text or like an email. It will notify you when a new episode drops, so you don't have to just keep searching. You'll know as soon as it drops. It'll tell you. It'll just add to that notification list that's on your home screen or on your lock screen. So give us a like, give us a follow, and please make sure you comment.
And also make sure you tune in next episode. So this is episode 7. Make sure you tune in for episode 8. We're gonna have maybe a special guest.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some surprises. We're gonna be talking music, and that's fun. Who doesn't like music? So there we go.
So make sure you tune into episode 8. Make sure you go back and listen to episodes 1 through 6, part 1 and 2 of episode 6. And once again, this is Yada Yada, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.